Imagine your 13-year-old daughter disappears on New Year's Day. The last place she was seen, her computer screen. This isn't fiction, it's Alicia Kozakiewicz's true story. In 2002, she became a victim of every parent's worst nightmare and lived to tell the tale. But how did it happen, and could it happen to your child? The lure of the chat room. In 2002, 13-year-old Alicia settled into her favorite after-school routine. She booted up the family computer, logged into a popular chat room, and entered a digital world that felt safe and familiar. Little did she know, her next conversation would set in motion a chain of events that would change her life forever. For teenagers in the early 2000s, chat rooms were the social media of their time. These online spaces offered a thrilling mix of anonymity and connection, allowing kids to make friends from around the world without leaving their bedrooms. Many spent hours each day chatting about music, school, and their dreams for the future. But lurking in these seemingly innocent spaces was a hidden danger: online predators. These individuals used sophisticated grooming techniques to manipulate and exploit vulnerable young people. Their methods were subtle, often beginning with casual conversations that appeared harmless on the surface. Predators would carefully build trust over time, showing interest in a child's hobbies, offering compliments, and positioning themselves as understanding friends. They might claim to be closer in age to their target or create entirely false personas. As the relationship deepened, they would gradually introduce more personal or sexual topics, testing boundaries and normalizing inappropriate conversations. Many children kept these online friendships secret from their parents. The psychology behind this secrecy is complex. Some kids feared losing access to the internet if adults knew about their online activities. Others enjoyed the thrill of having a special relationship that felt mature and forbidden. In some cases, predators explicitly instructed their victims to keep quiet, using guilt or threats to ensure compliance. Looking back, there were likely red flags in Alicia's online interactions that went unnoticed. Sudden changes in her mood or behavior after using the computer, secretive phone calls, or reluctance to discuss her online activities could have been warning signs. But in an era where internet safety wasn't widely taught, these subtle cues were easy to miss. The process of grooming a child through chat rooms is a gradual erosion of boundaries and common sense. Predators expertly exploit the natural vulnerabilities of adolescence, the desire for independence, the need for validation, and the belief in one's own invincibility. But for Alicia, the danger lurking behind her computer screen was about to become all too real. The fateful New Year's Day. As fireworks lit up the sky on January 1st, 2002, a sinister plan was already in motion. The next 48 hours would reveal just how dangerous the internet could be, and how quickly a child could vanish without a trace. What clues did investigators uncover in those critical first days? The Kozakiewicz family gathered around their dining table, sharing a traditional New Year's Day meal. Laughter and chatter filled the air as they discussed resolutions and hopes for the coming year. Alicia, 13 years old and full of energy, finished her dinner quickly. She excused herself, mentioning something about chatting with friends online, a common occurrence that raised no alarms. Hours passed, and the house grew quiet as evening set in. Alicia's mother called out, reminding her daughter it was getting late. No response. She walked to Alicia's room, expecting to find her engrossed in conversation. Instead, she found an empty chair, a darkened computer screen, and no sign of her daughter. The initial confusion quickly gave way to panic. The family searched every room, called neighbors, and frantically dialed Alicia's friends. With each passing minute, the realization that something was terribly wrong grew stronger. By midnight, their worst fears were confirmed. Alicia had vanished without a trace. Local law enforcement arrived and the investigation began in earnest. As they pieced together Alicia's last known movements, a disturbing pattern emerged. Her recent online activity raised red flags, prompting investigators to suspect internet involvement almost immediately. This crucial insight would shape the direction of the search in the coming days. As dawn broke on January 2nd, the scale of the search expanded. Missing person flyers plastered the neighborhood. News crews arrived, broadcasting Alicia's photo to millions. Behind the scenes, FBI cybercrime experts combed through chat logs and email records, racing against time to uncover any digital breadcrumbs that might lead to Alicia. The hours crawled by, each one an eternity for the Kozakiewicz family. They clung to hope, but the reality of what might have happened to their daughter began to sink in. Investigators worked tirelessly, following every lead, no matter how small. Yet, as the second day since Alicia's disappearance drew to a close, they seemed no closer to finding her. Little did they know, a breakthrough was just around the corner. While her family desperately searched, Alicia faced unimaginable horrors. 4 days of terror. While her family clung to hope, Alicia's reality had become a waking nightmare. What depths of human cruelty await in the shadowy corners of the internet? And how does a 13-year-old girl survive when thrust into that darkness? Alicia's abduction thrust her into a world of unimaginable terror. Her captor, a 38-year-old man she had met online, immediately asserted his dominance. He chained her by the neck in what Alicia would later describe as a dungeon, a chilling physical manifestation of the control he sought to exert over her. The abuse escalated rapidly. Alicia endured beatings, torture, and repeated sexual assaults. Her abductor, not content with inflicting physical pain, sought to break her spirit through psychological manipulation. He streamed her degradation live over the internet, forcing Alicia to confront the horrifying reality that others were witnessing her torment. This tactic served to deepen her feelings of powerlessness and shame. Faced with such extreme trauma, Alicia's mind sought ways to cope. Experts note that survivors often employ dissociation as a survival mechanism, mentally detaching from their situation to endure the psychological pain. For Alicia, thoughts of her family became a lifeline. She clung to memories of their love, using them as an emotional anchor in the storm of abuse. As the days stretched on, Alicia's captor continued to employ a range of psychological tactics to maintain control. Isolation from the outside world, constant fear, and manipulation were all tools in his arsenal. He worked to erode her sense of self and create a warped dependency on him as her sole connection to the world. Throughout her ordeal, a part of Alicia remained alert for any opportunity to escape or signal for help. But the chains, both physical and psychological, held firm. Her abductor's vigilance and the unfamiliar surroundings made any attempt seem futile. The horrors Alicia endured during those 4 days in captivity were beyond comprehension. She faced abuse that no person, let alone a child, should ever experience. The trauma inflicted went far beyond the physical, threatening to shatter her very sense of self. But in the darkest moment, when hope seemed lost, an unexpected turn of events would change everything. The miracle rescue. In a cruel twist of irony, the very technology that facilitated Alicia's abduction would become the key to her salvation. As Alicia endured her 4th day of captivity, her abductor made a fatal mistake. He shared horrific images of her abuse online, unwittingly creating a digital trail that would lead authorities straight to her. The breakthrough came when one of the abductor's online acquaintances recognized Alicia from a widely circulated missing persons poster. This tipster's quick action set off a frantic race against time. FBI cyber experts worked tirelessly, tracing the origin of the uploaded images. Every second counted as they narrowed down the location, knowing Alicia's life hung in the balance. Their efforts pinpointed a townhouse in Virginia. As FBI agents prepared to raid the property, tension mounted. They knew the dangers of storming in too hastily, potentially spooking the abductor or putting Alicia at greater risk. But they also couldn't afford to wait, aware of the ongoing abuse she was suffering. When the FBI finally breached the townhouse, they found Alicia chained and locked in the basement. The moment of her rescue was charged with emotion. Agents described it as both heartbreaking and triumphant. Confronted with the reality of what she had endured, but overwhelmed with relief at finding her alive. Alicia herself would later describe her rescue as nothing short of a miracle. "I'm lucky to be alive," she stated, echoing the FBI's assessment that her safe recovery had been a 1,000,000-to-1 shot given the circumstances. The aftermath of the rescue was a whirlwind of activity and emotion. Alicia was quickly taken to a small airport in Virginia for a private reunion with her family. As she saw her parents and siblings for the first time in days, Alicia found herself at a loss for words. No language seemed adequate to express the depth of her relief and joy at being back with her loved ones. This dramatic rescue highlighted the double-edged nature of technology in modern crime. The same online platforms that had allowed a predator to groom and abduct Alicia had also played a crucial role in her eventual rescue. The digital footprint left by her abuser, combined with the power of public awareness through missing person posters, had ultimately led to her salvation. Alicia's ordeal was over, but her journey was far from complete. As she began the long process of healing, a new purpose was taking shape in her mind. Alicia Kozakiewicz's journey from victim to advocate showcases the incredible resilience of survivors. Her story reminds us that healing is possible, even in the aftermath of unimaginable trauma. But it also highlights the critical need for ongoing internet safety education. As viewers, we can take action to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Have open, judgment-free conversations with children about online dangers. Create an environment where they feel safe coming to you with concerns. As Alicia emphasizes, make sure your kids know they can tell you anything. You will not ground them, punish them, or, what they're most afraid of, take their device away. Implement safety measures like parental controls and monitoring software. But remember that education is the most powerful tool. Teach children to recognize red flags and trust their instincts. Alicia's experience shows us that predators are real, but so is the power of knowledge and awareness. Her words serve as both a warning and a call to action. I had been given the second chance, and I wasn't going to waste it. Let's honor her courage by working together to create a safer online world for everyone.